What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Mark here with Coach Chris, and this is the Triumph Nutrition Podcast where we're trying to just simplify day to day nutrition. Chris, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing fantastic. It's Friday. We're here at the gym. We just got to watch some people crush Fran 21:15:9 thrusters and pull ups.
It's always a brutal workout. It's a perfect time to get that after workout nutrition in too.
Actually, as the programmer, I feel like I should inform you. Should probably lay low for a couple days.
Probably.
Should
I got a lot of
probably
I got
find
a
a
lot
safe
of
house.
I got a lot of number one signs from everyone this week. Got some really lovely text messages. Something like fire trucks you, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. A lot of
Feel
people.
very safe.
Do you feel like you're being followed home after you leave the gym?
Constantly.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
weird. It's safe and unnerving at the same time.
So obviously, this podcast, we're going to try to really tackle nutrition. It's a scary word for a lot of people. That's why we started this, and in particular for our members here at the gym. But in general, if other people are going to listen, great. Hopefully, you get some value out of it. In the future, this being the first one, we didn't really ask for any, audience questions or client questions, but we'll have kind of Facebook channels, Instagram channels out there if you guys want questions answered around your specific nutrition or just something you've been curious about. You can definitely let us know. But in general, we've really tried to step up our nutrition game here at Triumph. And how we've been doing that, I recently got the Precision Nutrition level 1, which was fantastic. Just introduction, I would call it, into just the world of nutrition. You're always a constant student with this stuff. But some of the things that really fortified for me was just keeping it simple, and then really trying to have a habit-based approach as opposed to an outcome-based. And what I mean by that is not just saying, "Oh, I want my outcome to be I want to lose 100 pounds." That's great if that's what you want to do, but then where does that journey begin? And it should begin with something like, what are you going to eat for breakfast on a Monday? And then how do we prepare that meal or order that meal or go about having the means to know what I should be consuming on that day. So anyway, our approach with our members or potential clients will just be that. It'll be a step-by-step approach where we generally will just sit down with you or talk to you on the phone for about 60 to 90 minutes on your first session to just really dig in and get to know you, especially if you're brand new to us. And then from there, it looks like weekly or bi-weekly 15 to 30-minute meetings. And it's really not like you're being called down to the principal's office. It is more like talking to your friend, which sometimes, if you have good friends, you need a kick in the butt from. That's fine, but most of the time it'll be a good pat on the back or just a constructive conversation around, hey, this is where you're currently at with your nutrition, and here's a step-by-step approach to get to your goals. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Chris.
No, I completely agree with a lot of it, and I'd say Mark has done an incredible job getting this whole program set up, really,
Oh, thank you.
and taking the lead there. Nutrition is kind of the last thing that gets started for some reason. I
Yeah.
find with everyone, it's like fitness journey starts and it becomes how hard can I go in the gym, and then it's like let's talk about nutrition. I'll deal with that later. I think it comes down to nutrition's really a marathon, right? Is I want to lose 100 pounds. Okay, well let's start with 10. And because if the only goal is to lose weight, what happens when you've lost it all? Have you built the habits to maintain that? Because we see, shows like I think The Biggest Loser and things like that did such a good job in helping people drop weight, but it also built really poor relationships with food and no understanding of food. And I think that's what our program's doing is it's teaching you how to look at food and how to make the food make sense for you. Um, I don't think we've ever preached, well, you can never have that again.
Right.
It's more moderation and understanding why you can't eat that every day or why you can't eat that much or what effect that really does have on your body. And I think CrossFit in general did a great job of coming out early on and saying, hey, at the very base of our pyramid is nutrition.
Yeah.
If you don't have this aspect, you may be able to get away with it for a while, but your progress will slow until you knock it out. And I think some of the members here, I can think of one or two in particular, who have really knocked out their nutrition lately, have seen amazing results
Yeah.
in not only body comp change, but workouts.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, and especially this time, we're recording this in 2020, October 16th, and we're still in this pandemic with COVID-19, and I think a lot of people, especially that are obese, are realizing that they need to kind of get moving more in the direction of health. And if you're overweight, or you don't have all the answers, that's okay. That's where you need to enlist a professional, and if it's not us, find someone that can help with nutrition, because I think a lot of people view nutrition as like Mount Everest, when really it's just, once you get going with it, a lot of it can be downhill.
Yeah.
It's not just this uphill, arduous, continuous, laborious task day in and day out. Like, hopefully it can be fun. Like for me, whenever I track my food, I it I kind of like numbers, so it's like I gamify it,
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
like, oh, okay, what can I have for dinner tonight? All right, I need 100 carbs.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sweet,
Sweet. All
yeah.
right.
And that's not every night, but every once in a while you hit things just right, and hopefully you build in some habits. And look, everyone's different, so there's definitely not one size fits all approach. So if that's what you're looking for, it's just such a case by case basis. And like I said, everyone's different. There has been um, people here recently that have seen amazing results,
Amazing results.
and it's just small changes. And yeah, for the first maybe couple weeks, things are feeling different, and maybe even a little silly. Some people eat more and then they end up losing weight.
Yeah.
It's wild. But yeah, other than that, Chris, I know Chris complimented me. I'll compliment him with just the work he does with nutrition with his clients as well. And really, we've been doing this, so it's our 7-year anniversary. So we've been doing this somewhat throughout those 7 years, but
Yeah.
just not a standalone program. So with having the staff we do now and freeing up a little more time for myself, it's something I'm kind of spearheading, but would love to pass off to the rest of the staff, as well as more clients understand the value and the necessity of good nutrition.
And I think that the hard part with nutrition too is once you're bought in, you get it and you see the results. Like until you see the results, you don't really buy in. You're kind of like, I trust these guys or I trust this person, right? Because it is so much built on that compatibility with whoever you're working with.
Hmm.
Someone could have all the education in the world and you just don't connect.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you connect with that person you're working with and you truly understand that they care and you truly care about who you're working with, magic's going to happen.
Hmm.
Um, and there isn't a one size fits all. And I think that's everyone's least favorite answer is what should I do for nutrition? It depends.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's a hard answer as a coach and as a trainer to say, and it's equally hard, if not harder, to take as a client or a member. But it is so different because it depends on what you like to eat versus what you have time for and all that. If we put someone on this massive carb cycling diet and they're working third shift,
Yeah.
probably not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, um, you know, for some people, keto is their favorite thing in the world. For some
Yeah.
people, they go vegan, which respect.
Hmm.
But there's complicated move pieces to each diet. I think.
Yeah. I think the one of the big things is when people have these strongholds for certain items. Like, I have to have pizza once a week,
Yeah.
or I have to have ice cream every night before I go to bed, or I'm addicted to pop and sugar. Right? It's probably the worst drug out there
Yeah.
on the market that we're passing off to our kids. Right? Um, it's really just flipping the mindset a little bit and just understanding, like, for your body to change, you're going to have to change what you're putting in it. Right? So if you've been, let's just say you're middle aged and you were once an athlete, and for the last 15 to 20 years you've kind of been letting yourself go. You've had that job, you have a family now, and you have a little more stationary life. again, when people generally start with us, they just want to rush right into high intense training, and we try to pump the brakes and let them know like, hey, we have this on ramp fundamental program, and here's why we do it, and stay light with the weights and progress through the movements. Nutrition is this afterthought, like Chris mentioned initially. If that's you, the person I just described, nutrition is probably your best place to start
Yeah.
before you even get into a gym. But if you're really um, excited and really want to get the bar moving or whatever yourself moving, we're not going to discourage that. So at that point, if you can complement it with the nutrition, it's just going to be expedited.
And I think we both hit on it in that okay, you maybe you understand okay, nutrition's important, but why? Why is nutrition important? Right? When what we call our conditioning workouts is metabolic conditioning
Mm-hmm.
that directly involves what you eat. Right? So what you eat changes your energy, it changes your mood, it changes your recovery, changes everything. Uh, we were just talking about whatever the diet. I don't know that it's a diet, but the guy who's gained 35
Oh
pounds
yeah,
and he was eating
yeah.
800 grams of carbs a day. Well, that's awesome, but one of the first things we both looked at was, well, what is that gastrointestinal stress like? What is your stomach stress like? And he was like, not good.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does come down to what you can eat, what you enjoy eating, and how you can make that work. Like, why are you addicted to the foods they are? Is it a stress thing? Is it okay,
Mm-hmm.
I know that I stress eat. Okay, well, how do we get rid of that trigger? And that's what I think we offer versus, maybe a big company that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, we see 4,000 people a day or,
Yeah.
whatever, it's all based on an app. You can come in and we can have that face to face conversation and make that a little more real to you and hit home
Mm-hmm.
versus like, oh, well, just do this. We'll send you a template.
Right.
Here's this custom thing, and we understand pieces of this will be hard.
Yeah, we want to be a partner with you, is what Chris is saying, right? And a lot of times the bigger, maybe more recognizable names in the industry might just be looking for a before and after photo
Yeah.
so they can put it on their Instagram. We're after a relationship, and hopefully we've already built one with you if you're a current member. And I'd like to think we build good relationships with all of our members. And from there, really this whole thing just came out more of a duty to serve
Mhm.
and understand the responsibility that we've been given in this business, and it's to help every single person that comes through the door the best we can. And we feel like we do a good job by and large out on the floor in the gym space, and now we really just have to fulfill the end of that bargain, which is the nutrition. And it's amazing to see people come in here every day and work really hard towards their goals. It's also almost just as hard sometimes when they've been working their butts off and they're not really seeing the progress they want. And that's where this Triumph Nutrition just has to happen for those types of people. Of course, there is a cost, but at the same time, we'd like to think that you're going to get tremendous value from just looking under the hood a little bit more on your day-to-day nutrition.
And I think what that hit on a little bit what you just said is as far as value, that everyone's been, if you're listening to this, you've probably been working out, right? Hopefully, you have learned something in that time. That to me is what the most value comes from is what have you learned? Um, if you finish this nutrition, you know, program with us, you go through this and you know, follow everything that we're saying and you follow the program as is. And after a year, we ask you questions and you didn't learn anything, we failed you.
Yeah.
This is it's built so that you have an education in this
Mm-hmm.
almost to the point where if your family member goes, hey, what are you doing, you could sit down and at least give them the basics of what things
Mm-hmm.
are and why you do what you do. There should always be a sense of ownership that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously we're the professionals, we're leading that charge, but our job is to educate you so that you're better off able to help everyone else. That's really the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. This shouldn't be a lifelong partnership as far as you paying for nutrition services. Ideally, give us 3 to 12 months, and hopefully by that point you're fairly self-sustaining, and then we can do periodic check-ins.
Yep.
But at least 3 months of kind of weekly or bi-weekly meetings where we just sit down and see how things are going, what areas are we struggling in, and then as you ultimately progress through that, information is power, right?
Yeah,
And the
absolutely.
more you can understand how carbohydrates, protein, fats interact with your body and how much of those you need, and so on and so forth, and your hydration and other important things that you're already doing, right? You're obviously,
Yeah.
you're already consuming um, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins on a daily basis. And if you're not tracking, you don't know how much. And we do have an in-body scanner here. If you haven't used that and you're a current member, get with a coach, get that scheduled, and get some numbers, especially your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, which will give you about 80% of your daily caloric intake. And then that'll be a good baseline for us to kind of get this ball rolling and you to look better, feel better.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah, sorry, Chris. I was just
yeah.
saying it's about kind of wrap it up. Final thoughts on you know this kind of podcast or just the nutrition program in general.
Um, the big thing to, I think, the idea to try to get across is nutrition is scary. You know, um, best way I can put it is, if you're afraid of the dark, wear the flashlight. Let us shine the light on this whole situation and show you that the scary thing in the dark really isn't that scary. It's just a jacket hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, and nutrition isn't what we're talking about. Nutrition isn't just weight loss. Like, oh man, we're just going to help you drop fat. Well, I don't need to drop fat. Okay, let's talk about maintenance. Let's get you to a point where you can eat more and keep losing weight. How awesome is that? Oh, I'm eating more than I've ever eaten and I'm leaner than I've ever been. Bingo, we hit it. Let's get you to that point. So whether you need 100 pounds to lose, 10 pounds to lose, gain 10 pounds, gain 20 pounds, whatever it is, we got you. We got your
If you
back.
just want to feel better, the
Yeah.
cognition benefits of healthy, clean nutrition are absolutely amazing. That was one of the fastest things I noticed whenever I started to switch from eating a bunch of refined sugar and processed food to eating more natural, whole food. Was just when I would wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm so much clearer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not like this foggy, like hangover kind of feeling whenever I get up in the morning. Now I've like, not I'll just say it. Have a more zest for life, right? Where you just get up and then is it every morning? Absolutely not. But especially when you have a 10-week-old at home. But by and large, like I said, it's absolutely has to happen for people in our community here because we owe it to them, and frankly, they owe it to themselves. So we're excited to get this thing rolling. We'll be putting out a lot more information about it, but we're going to try to do this every week as long as I can chase Chris down. He's been busy guy himself, and we like I said, we're going to commit to it, and then they'll probably be about this long, this 15-20 minute mark here, and we want to answer your questions. So next week, we'll throw it out on our channels. I don't know when this is going to come out, but so it might be this week.
Boom, boom.
Boom. And then we'll get some questions answered for you as well. So thanks for listening. If you want to find out more about Triumph Nutrition, you can head to our website, triumphstrength.net. Have a great day.
See you guys.